Okay, so Jumanji The Next Level is the second Jumanji movie. Oh, no, never mind. It's the third Jumanji movie. And it's directed by Jake Kasdan, and it stars Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Karen Gillan, Awkwafina, Danny DeVito, Danny Glover. And this time around, it follows the four kids from the first movie who are coming back from their winter break, who learn that one of the members of the group, not only has the old Jumanji game, but is stuck in the game again, so they have to go in and save him. Unfortunately, this time around, Danny DeVito and Danny Glover are transported into the game as well with them. And now they gotta save him with Danny DeVito and Danny Glover in the bodies of Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. When I heard that they were doing another Jumanji movie after Welcome to the Jungle, I was like, that's not that surprising. And, like, I really like the first Jumanji movie. It's a movie from my childhood. I think it really holds up for the most part. Welcome to the Jungle, I don't love that much, honestly. Well, a fun movie overall, and the performances were really good for the most part. I just felt like the humor in it was not that good. The villain was not that good, and I really didn't like the ending of this one. And so a new one, and the new one, I didn't think we needed a new one, especially how the first one ended. The last one ended. If you saw Welcome to the Jungle, you know at the end they literally just beat up the game console that Jumanji was using, and yet we have a sequel because this one made almost $1 billion worldwide. And it kind of doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense in the trailers. It's like, oh, I'm back with this game, I'm gonna fix it, and like it didn't make sense in the trailers. Like the trailers for this movie kind of put me off for the most part because I felt like it didn't really necessitate. It didn't seem like a necessary sequel to me. Like I knew it was gonna come, and it was gonna happen, and the film overall, it's kind of like how I felt about the first movie. While definitely a lot of fun for the most part, there are things I really don't like about this movie. So, what are some fun things in this movie? Well, one of the really fun things in this movie is that it's not just like the last movie at all. And they do go through like a bunch of new different levels for the most part that are definitely very creative, very inventive. Even if there is one that reminds me of the game Temple Run. Like, I was watching a scene even though I was having fun, like halfway through the scene I'm like, wait, this is Temple Run. I remember that game. You ripped off from Temple Run, didn't you? And, you know, the performances for the most part are really good. Everyone is really good in this one. Well, for the most part. Kevin Hart doing his Danny Glover impression, that's really funny. Awkwafina is really good in this movie. As you'll see the character she plays in this movie. Jack Black had a few funny lines. Dwayne Johnson kind of annoyed me in this movie because, like, he's Danny DeVito stuck in the body of Dwayne Johnson. And it didn't really work for me, unfortunately, because it didn't work for me at first because it just became annoying. It was like, I don't understand this. What's going on? Like, and that just got old after a while. And it just stopped being funny. And it's like, it got funnier by the end. But then again, that's just based on like what you see in this movie. I won't go into spoilers with this movie because it's kind of fun to watch, and why not? The humor for this one is better, where I felt like the last movie had a bunch of like crude jokes that were unnecessary for that movie. Like, they took those out, that movie would have been PG. I'm just saying. And this movie is not as like crude, but it's definitely funnier, I would say. Like it takes a while to actually get funny. Like when they're in the game, like when they're in the middle of the game, that's when it's the funniest. Also, I really didn't like the villain in this one either. Like, the first one had a really bland villain, and surprisingly, there's an even blander villain in this one. Like, this villain doesn't even appear in this movie very often, but then again, I remember, like, in the first one, a lot of people had a lot of criticism over that villain because, oh, this is a video game, this is a real world, and, they show the villain a lot more often, just doing his own thing, so it doesn't really work, and they don't really show the villain a lot in this one, but at the same time, it's like, hey, you know, you're focused on the characters, great. You still give us a very weak villain overall, fine. Also, I kind of didn't like parts of the ending. I won't go into spoilers again, but I just felt like how they treat certain characters at the end, I just didn't buy whatsoever. Also, I kind of didn't like how they kind of like throw in different things. Like, okay, there is a great callback to the first movie, the very first Jumanji in this one. That's like, I thought the first one couldn't be topped with the mention to Alan Parrish and Robin Williams. I thought that one couldn't be topped. But this one actually does top it. Like, in a way that's like very touching to the original movie and like a nice little surprise. Like, I was caught off guard by it. So, in the end, Jumanji: The Next Level is not a bad movie overall. It's a fun movie to watch, but there are things that are keeping this movie from really being like a good movie. Like, this is a good matinee to watch if you're ever bored or if you really don't want to see Star Wars, and you're not going to hate yourself watching it. I think that's the best way to describe it. You won't hate yourself watching Jumanji: The Next Level, but you won't really need to watch it again, and it's not really a necessary watch. In the end, I'll give Jumanji: The Next Level 2.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. So, which Jumanji movie is your favorite? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Take care.